In the heart of a forgotten jungle, Ilara and Grusha stood before an ancient stone door, its surface glowing faintly with symbols that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. Ilara, a brilliant scientist with an insatiable curiosity for the unknown, ran her fingers along the carvings, her mind racing. "These symbols, they speak of time," she murmured, her eyes wide with wonder. Grusha, a wise man in a wheelchair, smiled warmly as he observed her. "The ancients often fixated on time," he said thoughtfully, his voice calm yet laced with excitement. "But this feels like something much greater." Ilara's excitement grew as she deciphered the markings. "A key," she whispered, "a key that unlocks time itself." Grusha wheeled closer, his mind already piecing things together. "Let's solve this mystery together," he said, his tone encouraging yet measured. Working together, their combined intellects made quick work of the puzzle. With a low, rumbling sound, the stone door slowly opened, revealing the temporal key. A radiant object bathed in golden light, humming with the energy of countless ages. "We've done it," Ilara exclaimed, her heart pounding. "This is the key to all of time." Grusha, though smiling, had a more serious air about him. "Ilara, this is no ordinary relic. It's a responsibility," he cautioned. "Time is fragile. We must use this with great care." Ilara nodded in agreement, her excitement now tempered by the gravity of the situation. "We'll learn from history, not change it," she promised. With that, they took their first step into an adventure that would span ages as they journeyed through the corridors of time itself. Years passed as Ilara and Grusha ventured through the annals of history. They witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth of empires, and humanity's greatest triumphs and darkest hours. Through their shared travels, their bond deepened, blossoming into a love that stood outside the constraints of time itself. From this love came their son, Tommy Robinson. Raised on tales of his parents' extraordinary adventures, Tommy grew up with a profound sense of justice. The stories of past mistakes and human resilience shaped him into a man determined to make a difference. His parents' legacy instilled in him a passion for unity, and he was soon recognized as a powerful voice for the people. By 2024, Tommy had forged strong alliances with like-minded individuals, including Richard Inman and Paul Thorpe. Together, they aimed to bring the country together in a united cause. Their rally was set for the 26th of October, a date they all agreed would mark the start of something important. The trio gathered in a cozy cafe, tea and papers scattered across the table as they hashed out the final details of their rally. Paul leaned forward, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "I'm thinking we get a brass band, have them lead the march to Parliament. People will notice us." Tommy raised an eyebrow, a hint of amusement in his voice. "A brass band, Paul? Are we rallying for unity or hosting a street party?" Richard chuckled. "Hey, a bit of spectacle never hurts. Maybe a tuba solo will do the trick." They all laughed, easing the tension, but the seriousness of their mission quickly returned. "We need something memorable," Tommy said, leaning back in his chair. "Something that shows people this is bigger than just one day." Richard grinned. "How about this? A giant cake shaped like the UK, each slice representing a different region. It'll show that no matter where we're from, we're all part of the same whole." Tommy paused, thinking it over. "A cake, huh? That could work. All right, Paul, you handled the logistics. Richard, you're on cake duty." With the plan set, the rally, now only weeks away on the 26th, was coming together. As the rally day approached, Richard was hard at work, coordinating vendors and ensuring the event would go off without a hitch. One afternoon, while finalizing details with a pie vendor, Richard nearly bumped into someone in the town square. Looking up, he found himself face to face with Keir Starmer. Well, Richard said with a sly grin. "If it isn't two-tier Keir, didn't expect to see you around here." Starmer, clearly caught off guard, gave a polite smile. "Just visiting the local community," he replied. "Seems like you've got something big planned." Richard's expression hardened slightly. "We're organizing a rally for unity. Something this country could use more of." Starmer nodded, his smile remaining, but his interest clearly fleeting. "Good luck with it," he said, turning to leave. Richard couldn't resist calling after him, "Stick around, Mr. Starmer. You might learn what real unity looks like." Starmer paused for a moment, but walked on without another word. Richard shook his head and returned to his preparations. Well, that was something, he muttered to himself, refocusing on the task at hand. On the 26th of October, the rally began, and the town square buzzed with energy. Thousands gathered, waving Union Jacks and cheering for unity. The timing felt perfect, as if the date itself had been waiting for them. At the center of it all stood Tommy, Richard, and Paul, ready to deliver their message to the world. Tommy stepped onto the stage, microphone in hand. His voice rang out over the crowd, strong and steady. "Look at us today," he began. "We're not just here for a rally. We're here because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. Unity is what will carry us forward. Together, we can build a future where every voice matters." The crowd erupted in cheers, their energy tangible. As Tommy continued to speak, Richard's giant cake was unveiled. A stunning confection shaped like the UK, each slice representing a different region. It stood as more than just a dessert. It was a symbol of unity, a reminder that despite their differences, they were all part of one whole. As the sun began to set on that historic day, Tommy, Richard, and Paul stood together, taking in the scene before them. The rally had been a success, but they knew it was only the beginning. "We did it," Richard said softly, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Paul nodded. "And there's so much more to do." Tommy, ever the visionary, looked out over the crowd, his expression determined. "We've made our mark today, but we won't stop here. This is just the start." As the three men stood together, they felt the weight of history on their shoulders. Unbeknownst to the crowd, their mission echoed the adventures of Tommy's parents. Ilara and Grusha, the original keepers of the temporal key, had not only unlocked time, but had set the course for a future where justice, unity, and love could flourish. Their legacy lived on through their son, who now led a movement of his own, one that would ripple through time just as their adventures had. Tommy's rally wasn't just about one day, it was the continuation of the ideals his parents had fought to preserve. Their love, courage, and understanding of time's delicate balance had set the stage for his work. And as Tommy gazed at the united crowd before him, he knew that his parents' journey had come full circle, carried forward by the timeless ideals they had always believed in. The story of Ilara, Grusha, and Tommy Robinson was now one and the same, a story of hope, unity, and the eternal march of time.